when he says the state should distribute dignity, it's not literally, here's your portion of dignity.
It's a dignity coin.
Keep it. It is, we shouldn't have old people eating cat food.
Sam Seder of the Majority Report went after one of his favorite targets of ridicule, MAGA right-winger Dave Rubin. Dave Rubin was spouting the typical lines about socialism and socialists. We're going to take a look at clips of Sam Seder on the Majority Report, as well as clips of Dave Rubin. I'm going to share my thoughts on this as well. Let's get into it together.
Sick here.
Here he is talking about how Muslims belong in City Hall.
It is an opportunity for us to show that Muslims don't just belong in New York City, we also belong in City Hall.
Okay, to some extent he's not wrong. I believe that any law-abiding legal citizen of the United States can hold any office.
Pause it for wait a second. I want to, to some extent he's, is Rubin going squish on us?
Are you soft on Islamists, Dave?
What's going on? For some extent, he said that Muslims should be allowed to go into... What?
He's not ready to set up the color barrier quite yet.
You know, for years now, we've been seeing footage of Zohran Mamdani going into Albany, where the state legislature is, atop of white pickup trucks, in a caravan of white pickup trucks as he would drive into Albany up 87 and pull in. But City Hall, God, Lord, Christian Lord, help us.
An opportunity for us to show that Muslims don't just belong in New York City, we also belong in City Hall.
Okay, to some extent he's not wrong. I believe that any law-abiding legal citizen of the United States can hold any office that is possible. Now, his political beliefs are quite horrible, and it's not just as it pertains to Hamas and everything else. He wants to take over rent control from private people who are renting apartments. He is a socialist. He's a
take over rent control from private people.
Does Dave Rubin not know what rent control is?
I don't think Dave has had much interaction with rent control.
Yeah, it sounds like he doesn't even know that rent control is a thing. He just thinks that rent control is a verb. Like it's just like controlling rent. He wants to take over control rent.
Take the rent control out of private hands.
What next? The government's going to get their hands on our Medicare? Good.
Quite horrible, and it's not just as it pertains to Hamas and everything else. He wants to take over rent control from private people who are renting apartments. He is a socialist. He is a self-described democratic socialist, and as you know, they only say democratic socialist until they drop the Democrat part, and then they are just socialist. No, dignity is earned. Dignity is earned by having honor and being a good person. Then you become dignified, and someone might respond to you in a dignified way. You want the state to distribute dignity? Dignity is guaranteed. The state should distribute dignity. No, it does not work this way. Then, of course, the thing with the tax.
Pause it for a second.
Okay.
Now, I am not familiar with Mamdani saying that, but my guess is when he says the state should distribute dignity, it's not literally, here's your portion of dignity.
It's a dignity coin.
Keep it. It is, we shouldn't have old people eating cat food. We shouldn't have people having to sleep on the streets. We shouldn't have people having to work 2 or 3 jobs just so they can afford a broken down apartment. The state should provide at a bare minimum, a lifestyle where people don't feel they're not suffering, where they don't feel like in some way they have been forgotten by society. I think that's what it means. Like the state doesn't literally distribute dignity.
No.
You know what Sam Seder says here, and people can put whatever label on that they want to. They can call it communism, they can call it socialism. The right wingers like Dave Rubin are going to use whatever labels they want to. But I don't know how anybody could be against the idea that we don't have old people having to eat cat food. We don't have people sleeping out on the streets, in large numbers. I mean, it's been a while since I've been to New York City, but the last time I was there, I saw a lot more homeless people than the previous time I was there, which was a couple years prior to that. So it makes no sense to me that people would be willing to accept that in a country where we have people with literal billions of dollars. And in terms of socialism, also, I did a story just yesterday about AOC questioning RFK Jr., and she was talking about under the Trump administration, they're increasing the amount of money that they'll be giving to Medicare Advantage plans, which these are private health insurance plans that they've just tacked the name Medicare onto. They're going to get an additional $25 billion per year. So Dave Rubin is okay with, I haven't heard him talk about this, but I'm presuming he's okay with that kind of socialism, but not the kind of socialism where you try to just help regular people to make their rent a little bit less, or they won't have to eat cat food when they're old. Right-wingers are perfectly fine with socialism as long as the money is going to rich people and large corporations.
You want to pick a random number and say, you have enough. You over there, you have enough. So I need more of your stuff so I can give it to these people. And once you do that, guess what? These people that you gave it to, they're always going to want more. And these people who are creating, at some point they're going to go, you know what? I've had just about enough of this. And they're going to leave, and they're going to go to no-tax states like Florida and Texas and Tennessee, et cetera, et cetera. Like, good luck, New York. And then that starts today. It starts today, and good luck. And I'm telling you, if that man wins, if you are a sane person, you must leave.
The leader President Trump trusts to fight for West Virginia? That's Shelley Moore Capito. And she's got his...
Okay.
Well, there's the theory.
Any of the
tax people, the taxation. Speaking of arbitrary, there's an arbitrary number of taxation where you will move. Now, it is true. There may be some people who leave and go down to Florida. And I just don't come knocking when Miami is a couple of feet underwater. Listen, for people like this, they want the government to function to redistribute money upward. Period. End of story. And the way that the government can do that is by disempowering unions, providing tax incentives for, all sorts of things, 529s, health service, like people who have extra money. We figure out different ways of cutting their taxes, or the big tax cut bill. Yet all of society's functions that have built your wealth of these people that were necessary, let me put it, necessary to build wealth. No obligation to pay into that. I mean, that's his vision.
And just as I was saying about the example that I gave of giving the money to private health insurance companies, that's an example of distributing that money upwards, because they're going to, this is going to come from all of our tax dollars to give to those Medicare Advantage plans, instead of just increasing the number of people who can be on Medicare or strengthening Medicare. And also the old line of people are just going to leave that Dave Rubin brings up. From the 1940s until the early 1980s, when Reagan was in office, we had a top marginal tax rate of 70 to 91% on anything over, in today's dollars, around $2 million. People weren't fleeing the United States over that. And there were still people who were very, very rich and built large businesses, and we had the biggest middle class the world had ever seen. So they're just going to throw out the same lines. And sadly, a lot of the Democratic establishment is about as bad as people like Dave Rubin when it comes to going after actual progressive policies, like increasing the minimum wage and rent control and all of that. But let me know what you think about all this. Do you agree with what Sam Seder is saying here in the video? Do you agree with Dave Rubin? Make sure to let me know in the comments, and make sure to give me a like and subscribe. I'm Chris on Culture, and I will see you in the next video.